You plug in your scanner expecting an answer. Instead, you get nothing. No communication, a blank screen. And now you don't know if it's the scanner, the port, or your entire car's electrical system that just died. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. In a lot of cases, it's none of those. It's one single part quietly pretending to be a total system failure. There are 5 places this problem actually comes from, and you can check 4 of them yourself with tools you already own. We covered the 5th one, the network itself, in the last video. If you haven't seen that one, the 60 ohm test we showed you there is exactly what we'll use again here. Stick around for the 3rd check. It's the one that fools even some shops. They end up chasing wiring for hours when the real problem is one part in one spot that anyone can test in under 5 minutes. Quick reminder from last time, every module in your car talks on one shared network. Your scanner isn't magic. It's just another device trying to join that same conversation through one specific port. If the port has no power, if the wiring's damaged, or if the one module acting as the doorway into that conversation is dead, your scanner never gets to say hello in the first place. That matters because most people jump straight to the worst assumption the moment that screen stays blank. A dead ECU, a fried wiring harness, a repair bill with 4 digits on it. In reality, the fix is almost always one of the cheap, boring things nobody bothers to check first. So before you assume the worst, we are going through this in order. Cheapest and easiest first. Check number 1, power. Your scanner needs power before it needs anything else. Pin 16 on your OBD port supplies 12 volts. Pins 4 and 5 are your ground. Set your multimeter to DC volts. Red probe on pin 16, black on pin 4. You want to see battery voltage, around 12.6 with the engine off. Getting nothing? 2 places to check. First, your battery itself. If you haven't already ruled this out from the last video, do that first, because a weak battery can look exactly like a dead port. Second, there's almost always a specific fuse feeding this port. It's usually a small 5 to 10 amp fuse, and on most vehicles, it's labeled something like OBD, DLC, or data link right in the fuse box diagram. Check under the dash on the driver's side first, then the fuse box under the hood if you don't find it there. Pull that fuse and look at the little metal strip inside. If it's broken or blackened, that's your answer. A blown fuse here is one of the cheapest fixes in this entire video. We're talking a $2 part instead of a diagnostic bill that starts at $100. If you don't have a spare on hand, most fuse boxes have a few duplicate fuses of common amperages tucked right into the box itself. Check there before you make a parts store trip. Check number 2, the port itself. If power's fine, look at the port with a flashlight. You're checking for 3 things: bent pins, corrosion, and anything blocking contact. Dirt, a coin, even a stray zip tie somebody used to bundle wires nearby. Corrosion here usually comes from the same place it does everywhere else in your car. Moisture that got in once, sat there, and slowly ate at the metal. If you've ever spilled a drink near the footwell or driven through deep water, this is worth checking even if nothing else points to it. Never spray cleaner or water into this port. A dry brush or compressed air only. If there's a stubborn residue on the pins themselves, a cotton swab lightly dampened with isopropyl alcohol works, but let it fully dry before you plug anything back in. Gently straighten any bent pins with a small pick. Force here can snap a pin clean off, which turns a 5-minute fix into a harness repair. If you see green or white corrosion on the pins, that's the same story we covered last time with water intrusion. Clean contacts, a small amount of dielectric grease, and you're usually done. Check number 3, the network. This is the check from last time, and if you already ran it, skip ahead. If you haven't seen it, key off, disconnect the negative battery terminal, wait 5 minutes, then measure across pins 6 and 14 on your OBD port. Around 60 ohms means the network itself is fine. Your problem is somewhere else on this list. A few ohms either side of 60 is normal. Anything wildly off from that is where you focus. Way off from 60, and the network is where you focus, using the same troubleshooting steps we walked through in that video. If you want the full breakdown of what each specific reading means and how to trace it further, that video's linked at the end, and it's worth watching before you start pulling apart your dashboard looking for a wire that might not even be the problem. If breaking down one system at a time like this is useful to you, subscribe. This is what the channel does every week. Here's the check almost nobody knows to run, and it's the one that fools shops too. On a lot of GM vehicles built after 2007, one specific module, the BCM, your body control module, doesn't just control your interior lights and door locks. It also acts as the gateway between sections of the network. If that one module dies completely, your scanner can't reach any other module, even though your engine computer, transmission computer, and everything else on the car is working perfectly fine. It looks exactly like a dead network. Some shops spend hours chasing wiring before they find the real answer. One part, not the whole system. That's not a rare mistake either. It's one of the most commonly misdiagnosed no communication scenarios out there, because the symptom on the scanner looks identical either way. Here's how you spot it without any tools. If your interior lights don't come on, your accessory power is dead, and your door chime doesn't work, alongside your scanner showing no communication, that's your signal. All four of those symptoms point to the same single part. This isn't unique to GM. Different manufacturers put their gateway function in different places. Sometimes it's a dedicated gateway module. Sometimes it's folded into another computer entirely. But the lesson is the same everywhere. Before you assume your whole electrical system is failing, check whether one specific module could be acting as the doorway for all the others. That's the difference between a bill for one part and a bill for tracing wiring. You don't need to trace. One more possibility, and it has nothing to do with your car at all. It's your scanner. Cars built from around 2021 onward increasingly use CAN-FD, a faster, more secure version of the network we've been talking about. A lot of budget scanners simply don't support it. They power on, they look like they're working, and they still fail to connect. Not because anything's broken, but because the tool can't speak the newer language. If your scanner is a few years old and you've recently bought a newer car, this is worth checking before you assume something's actually wrong. Some manufacturers, Jeep and Chrysler are common examples, also added security gateways specifically to block unauthorized access. A basic scanner running into one of these isn't detecting a fault. It's being locked out on purpose. In that case, a firmware update from your scanner's manufacturer sometimes adds support. Worth checking their website before you assume you need a whole new tool. So here's the order. One more time. Power, then the port itself, then the network using the 60-ohm test, then whether one gateway module might be acting alone, and finally, whether your scanner is simply too old for your car. 4 of those 5, you just checked yourself for free. Which one turned out to be your problem? Tell me below, and if it turned out to be a fuse, you're not alone. If this saved you a diagnostic fee, the last video on multiple warning lights uses the exact same 60-ohm test. Worth watching if you haven't already.